Hello and welcome to the House of Vizsla, where we talk anything and everything Star Wars. And if you're a video listener, there is something new. I'm not flying an X-Wing today. I'm back home and I decided that, I actually have a back job that I can use. And don't know how long this is gonna last. But, welcome. How are you doing, Echo?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. Had somewhat of an eventful ride back home from college. I actually slipped off the road and back onto the road in one motion, so got my heart
Ooh.
racing there.
Yeah, it was alright for me. No bad weather. And we have taken like 3 weeks off. We released an episode before we left for Thanksgiving break. Didn't record Thanksgiving weekend. Took then the next 2 weeks off. We were getting into finals. And we did not really want to sit and record. We needed to focus on our studies. So, Fives got his wisdom teeth pulled the other day. So, he may or may not join us this weekend or next week when we record some more episodes. So, it's going to be less than 2 for a while. And then we've got some special episodes coming out to take a break from the regular This Is the Way Mandalorian recap to prepare you for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming in May 2026. So, but before we start into this recap, it's the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens. We didn't have any of the prequel trilogies in theaters, and we were around for. But we had sequels, Rogue One, and Solo. So, what was your experience seeing The Force Awakens for the first time in theaters? If you saw it.
Well, yeah, obviously I've seen it since then, obviously.
Yes.
I honestly forget if I went to a theater to see it or not. But I can tell you for my first watch through, whenever that was, I really liked it. I hadn't really paid attention to much of what Disney had done. Like, it wasn't until quite a while after that I actually watched through Rebels, Clone Wars, and any of the other stuff that Disney had released. Up to that point, I'd only seen the originals and the prequels, and not really paid attention to the books either.
Yeah.
But yeah, liked it first time seeing through. I still like it. I just maybe don't like the way the Disney took the universe after.
Yes, I agree with you on that. I enjoyed it. I think we watched it like on the 8th. We watched it on like a Saturday when it was in theaters, and like my sister got tickets for her birthday. Her birthday is actually maybe in a few hours if we record long enough. But I remember we watched all the prequels and the original trilogy to prepare for it, and my mom's not a Star Wars fan at all, and we forced her to watch it all to prepare us for The Force Awakens. And there was moments of it that was sad and moments that were cool. And I agree. The direction afterwards may or may not have been the best. But that is discussion for later episodes. But this is Mandalorian, so the sequel trilogy does not matter yet.
Though, let me say, My family's the same way. I'm a fan. I'm pretty sure my dad's a fan. My mom to play what is essentially a Star Wars Family Feud game. We actually have it, and it goes including The Force Awakens, but not including anything released after TFA. My mom had to make up a few rhymes just to remember characters' names.
Yeah, so yeah, I got all my stuff set up on screen and stuff. But I think it's time to go into the main discussion, recapping the episode so you don't have to sit and watch it. You may want to watch it because it was one good episode, and
Obi-Wan once thought
there is Vader for you. So this is Chapter 9, The Marshal, Season 2, Episode 1 of Mandalorian. It aired October 30th, 2020. So, it's 52 minutes long. Directed by Jon Favreau, written by Jon Favreau, starring Pedro Pascal and other names that I don't really think I'll pronounce and correctly. So you can search it up. So but we start we start off the episode with a recap of what happened in season 1 and how the Armorer kind of gave Mando this mission of take the child, Baby Yoda, back to the Jedi and like giving him this mission, and this starts it off. He probably had some minor missions off camera, but
I mean, he has to pay for his fuel somehow.
yes, and I don't think spaceship fuel, if we are thinking things out, if gasoline is like this price and jet fuel is like this, I think spaceship fuel is like above jet fuel. So
we'll see here.
That
in real life,
money.
Jet fuel is just very, 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 very refined kerosene. At least early jet fuel was. But yes. In Star Wars, thanks to Solo, we learned that coaxium is one of the fuels in universe, and seeing in Solo the lengths it goes to just transport it, it is expensive.
Yeah.
And also distance is measured in time for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, if there's one thing consistent, it's being inconsistent.
Why do we use time again for distance? Shouldn't distance be something? If we are 2 miles apart, how are we 2 hours apart? That makes 0 sense. But that's...
We'll see. Construction. Anyways.
That's something for another episode, and...
We're not going to stay on topic all that well tonight.
No.
It is a half hour away from being tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're only 9 minutes into it. But, Din Djarin, goes to this, like, fighting place, where there's some, I forget the, to see
some Gamorreans.
Crash, who is this, like, battle, and, like, he has a whole, kind of, like, he has his own horse in this, like, fighting ring, this underground fighting ring, and he's trying to, like, his thing is, like, drawing Mandalorians into his place to steal that precious outer shell. So, um,
Who knows what he does with their inner shell?
yeah, but he kills the people on one of the persons on stage. I think it was his own fighter too. And because he wasn't doing well or something, I don't know. But it's a 7-1 fight against Dinjarin, and the child goes. Yeah,
Nope.
no. I think I know what the child does. The child does. The child does. The child does this.
Yep.
Don't
Child just nopes into his own
that
carrier.
whole fight. For you audio listeners, I just cut my camera out of it, so yeah.
I have a feeling that's gonna get edited some if you do end up editing this. But anyways,
Maybe I don't know.
yeah, Mando activates his whistling birds, and actually, when he fires them, you can see one actually arcs back towards him, and he has to duck out of the way for it to hit one of the henchmen.
Yeah. And then Gokash runs completely out of there, and Mando goes for Batman on him and hangs him upside down on a post. So, and like, where is this Mandalorian you speak of? Tell me now. In much of a softer tone. So.
Yeah, and then one more thing about that planet is, as Mando and Grogu are walking in, you can see on the walls some anti-stormtrooper graffiti, and then at one point you can also see a little, what looks like C-3PO head painted on the wall.
Yeah. And actually, the artist who put the graffiti up was talking to Jon Favreau and was like, hey, Star Wars needs graffiti in it. And Jon Favreau was like, okay, you're going to do it. And then he's like, hey, you can cameo. I'll give you a cameo in the scene. And he basically, his backstory was in Huttese. And he was just speaking Huttese quickly to give his whole backstory in front of the camera.
Huh.
Yes.
I did not know that part of it.
Yeah, I learned that from a video that he was in, so that's that. Then we go back to Tatooine, and Mando's flying through, lands in Mos. In the same port that he was there the other day, and you see his I forget the mechanic's name.
Pelimoto.
Yes, with all these droids, the pit droids, and like she was like, "Hey, stay back! He doesn't like you, cat." And then Mando comes out, "Hey, fine. The crest needs a good one, so forth."
Of course, we know Pelimoto's droids. Good is not necessarily the best descriptor.
Then, she was like, "Hey, I really want the child. If the child has offspring or something, I want it." And then
It'll probably be way after her lifetime.
yeah, but technically there's only one of the species that we know of alive at the time. And if you want to hear a crazy theory that I have on it, I released it a couple months ago. Check the YouTube out. So what else? But he wants to see a map. He wants to know where this town is. Mas Palgo or something is, I think, its name.
Yes, Mos Pelgo, which has a little interesting backstory for non-canon, because it was first actually in an Old Republic video game. Then, and it wasn't actually in the base, it was in an expansion to the video game. And so they dug deep back into the archives of possible places.
Needed to grab something, so then calls a friend to come over, and we see all four come along. The one from
New Hope.
Yeah, who just blew its head off. So,
or in official terms, busted a motivator.
Yeah, so droid.
Not quite the right colors, but details.
Yeah, it would be details, but so, yeah, and was like, hey, can I borrow a speedo bike for this? And yeah, he takes a speedo bike all the way there. It's like a years long drive, and he walks into the saloon, and there's a barkeep in one of in there, and he's like, hey, where's the Mandalorian? And the barkeep's like, what's a Mandalorian? And someone that looks like me in this armor.
Oh, you mean the Marshal?
Yeah, him. And
he's just sitting over there.
And we see a figure walk up, and a nice silhouette. Then we see closer an outline of armor that we have seen before. Who could it be? Not Boba Fett.
Unfortunately.
But hey, it's Boba Fett's armor. His armor is out there. So
yeah, somehow they fished that out of the Sarlacc.
Yeah. Whose job was it to go into the Sarlacc pit?
Well, they probably didn't have many jobs afterwards.
Yeah, but which Jabba went in there? Because he...
I mean, obviously we wouldn't see them this episode.
Yeah, but we got a backstory, and then we see the Crate Dragon. This mysterious beast that's dangerous on Tatooine. And it goes and eats a bantha and goes away, and the Marshal and Cobb Vanth is the Marshal, and Mando is like, yeah, you can have the armor if you help me kill this thing. And they have a deal, and they go find where it lives, because he knows where it's at. Cobb Vanth.
And the Crate Dragon, Crate, I can never pronounce it right, but it's not the first time we've seen evidence of one.
No.
Back in the original trilogy, when 3PO and R2 first land, you can actually see the skeleton of one on top of a dune in the distance. And if I remember correctly, they left that prop there after they stopped filming, and so somewhere out in the Tunisian desert, you might find a skeleton of one. And then also, it was Obi-Wan used the call of a whatchamacallit to scare away Tusken Raiders from Luke Skywalker also in the original movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Tunisian desert is like I'm like, let's see. What if Google Maps has a photo of it somewhere?
Well, I know, like, I forget if I don't know if this is real or not, but I heard somewhere that they actually left all of the not all of them, but like the scenery that they built for the movie, they left that there too. Again, I don't know if that's real or not.
So, ooh,
Oh yeah, it is still there. It's near the town of. Never mind, that is in. All right.
all right. I love how you like open an image into a new tab, and instead of opening said image, it you open something completely different. But there you go. You can find a map and find all um the filming locations and scouting locations. Whoa, for Star Wars.
Huh.
Yes.
So from the Google AI overview, it was originally built for Disney film and abandoned in Tunisia. It was rediscovered in 1995. And of course, fans have taken pieces of souvenirs.
Oh yeah, of course. Cool. Yeah, we are definitely on a side tangent.
Really?
there's there's Star Wars graffiti on some of the stuff.
Well, I mean, like you just said, they wanted graffiti in Star Wars.
But like, look, just in a street somewhere, stormtrooper. So, but yeah, they go take the speedo bike, and something cool about combat speedo bike is it's not a speedo bike; it's a pod racer engine bike. So,
I mean, we know they have pod racers on Tatooine.
pod racers.
Now this is pod racing. Anyways,
Back to our regular scheduled programming.
like we schedule it at all, but
yeah. They stop in this valley in Tatooine, and they run into some creatures. And then we hear Din Djarin speaking Tusken, the language of Tusken Raiders. And then we see Tusken Raiders and combat as a just person that in Tatooine hates the Tusken Raiders a lot, like a certain Jedi we know. I killed them.
killed them all. Not just the men, but the women and the children too. They're like animals, so I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
Yeah. 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 Very dark days.
Yes. Speaking of dark days, when Cobb Vanth is going into his backstory, it's actually pretty similar to the book that he was first introduced in, which is the Alphabet Squadron series. One of the few books I actually have read. Star Wars books, that is. But in the show, they look at a hologram of the Death Star exploding with a string of Aurebesh around it. And if I am informed correctly, that string of Aurebesh around it is actually from the title crawl of the 6th movie. The part that says, "Little didn't Luke know they're building a second Death Star," essentially. I forget the exact wording. It's been a while since I looked at the title crawls of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
The only one I really know by heart is A New Hope's.
But yeah. So we also find out that he got the armor from Jawas, which we spoiled. But yeah, and then they talk, and they were like, yeah, they came up with a plan. They showed Mando in combat how they calmed the Krayt Dragon, because, hey, Tusken Raiders are the natives of Tatooine, not the civilians who are mainly there that we know of. So. And then they went back to town, and they basically were like, had a meeting with all the townspeople. Hey, we need your help to defeat the Krayt Dragon with the help of the Tusken Raiders, because we can't do it alone, type stuff. And they make a promise that that if they don't attack, they won't attack if they don't attack, type deal. And then they prepare, they get a ton of explosives. Fun.
Everyone loves explosives, right?
Yeah. And they figure it out, and they get it done right. But their plans did not go right. Like most Star Wars plans,
A lot of people still make plans at this point.
I don't know why.
Everyone knows that your plan's going to fail, and the main character is going to have to improvise and come up with some sort of solution on their own.
Yeah.
And a vast majority of the time, get out of said solution alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're in the universe and you don't know that you're in a recorded universe.
Yeah, I agree with that. But when this is why we don't plan a podcast episode. We don't script it or outline it, because nothing goes to our outlines. Side tangents.
Oh, yeah.
Duh.
Speaking of another side tangent, when they're looking at the cave that the dragon has made its home in, one of the Tuskens informs Mando that it made its home in a former Sarlacc pit, to which Vanth replies, "There is no such thing as a former Sarlacc pit." Mando says, "Well, there is.
There is, yeah. If
you
something
eat
eats
the
it.
previous occupant." So at that point, that kind of makes the dragons the apex predator on Tatooine.
Yep. Yeah. So, then they finish it up. Mando in combat has to use the rockets, jetpacks, to get up there to try to shoot it a bit, but then Mando decides to take it, gets the detonator, gets ready, and is eaten. And
he actually uses the same thing that Luke did to activate the jetpack. Just bonk it in the back, and up the where it goes.
And the thing was, it was damaged once. and then damaged again in the same spot. Definitely fan service. Definitely.
It's almost like the mouse I used to use for my computer. Anyways, Tiger knows what I'm talking about.
Have you gotten a new mouse yet?
Oh no, I've just switched to the other mouse that I had.
In January, if you don't have a new mouse, I am gonna find one on the internet that's wired and buy it. And a mouse pad this tall. 2. Yeah. Other issues. Yeah, and we end it with Mando and the Skin Raiders, I think cleaning up or something. I don't know. I barely saw
Harvesting the meat and whatnot.
Yeah, and we end the episode there. So
Tuskens actually pull what looks like a pearl out of the carcass. Again, something referenced in the Alphabet Squadron series, and actually stuff that originated in video games. Again, like to see how they pull like old stuff and even new stuff into these episodes.
Yeah, and yeah.
Speaking of pulling old stuff into these episodes, we have one final scene. As Mando speeds away over the desert, we see someone watching him from a dune.
Who could it be? So favorite moment, shot, or random thought?
I do kind of like seeing how they repurposed the pod racer engine into the speeder.
Yeah, I liked seeing the pit droids being pit droids and being a pain in the butt. The thing is,
I feel like we've seen every single time a pit droid has been mentioned, they have done something like that. Like this time, they got a tube suctioned to their face. In The Phantom Menace, one of them got sucked into a pod racer's engine.
And one of them was used with Jar Jar Binks being a buffoon, but that's Jar Jar Binks.
He was definitely not a Sith Lord, despite having yellow eyes.
I also liked the beginning with the fights and stuff with Mando trying to figure out where to go, because it felt cool. Like, we're going into the underworld of Star Wars, the parts that you don't see, the hidden clubs, you've got to know where to go places.
Yeah, kind of like on Coruscant. All we see in live action, at least, is the surface of Coruscant.
Yeah.
Even for the first few seasons of...
the surface of Coruscant, and like all the fun stuff in Coruscant is way off camera. So.
Yeah. Like even for the first few seasons of Clone Wars, we really only see the surface.
And maybe small bits of it. And it's crazy how much is in
and I forget where exactly what I'm thinking of happens, but we do see there is one spot on the entire planet that the original surface is exposed to the sky. And that is essentially at the top of Mount Everest. I'm sure they have some name for it in universe, but all we see is the highest peak, like maybe like a little over a yard tall, about a
Yeah.
meter for you metric users.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's crazy.
who knows? Coruscant may actually have water on it.
Tatooine might have water on it. So
Who knows?
yeah. I did like seeing Cobb Vanth enter into the cantina with the silhouette. Cause like if you're, I had the subtitles on, and he spoke, and it's like Cobb Vanth. And
Who's he?
if like you don't have the subtitles on, you're like, is that Boba Fett or something? Cause in the original trilogy, he didn't really speak. So like, is that the actual voice of Boba Fett? Canonically? But then it wasn't. He pulled off the helmet and wasn't Boba Fett according to the prequel trilogy and Clone Wars. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I think it's time for the count. So, what would you rate the episode?
I'm going to give this one an 8. I really liked it. There were some areas where I feel like it might have been able to be improved, but there weren't very many of those.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 7. So that'll give us 7.5 if I do my maths correct. So this is our count of Mando heads. I may change it up, depending. What next episode brings us.
I also just remembered another scene I liked. It was when Mando's using the telescope, whatever, to zoom in. We see a readout that's really similar to the same one from original trilogy second episode that I forget the name of. Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, Empire, yeah. So, yeah, with that said, I think it's a great place to end. If we want final thoughts, we can, but yeah. Do make sure to check out our website, houseofisla.com. We've got some nice things. We also have a newsletter on it, and we have our merch. We've got some collections on it, the Office collection and the Adventure collection, and I opened up some of the other stuff, so check it out. Sadly, it won't come in time for Christmas because shipping and manufacturing, but houseofisla.com is a great place for all links to our socials, to our Discord, and also our audio platforms, and some other cool stuff on there as well. But yeah, if you made it this far in the episode, and you're on YouTube, just comment this is the way, so we can see who made it this far. But I think with that said, yeah, make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. Rate us if you're on the audio platforms; it helps. So, and
yeah,
see you.
And if you want to, feel free to tell a friend as well.
Yeah, and check out our Discord, because that's where you can talk with us. We post on there. We may do some games. We don't know. It's a cool place to hang out, because Star Wars memes are in there. And random stuff, too. But with that said, may the Force be with you.